Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I am teacher Alif from Kangaroo Study, and today we don't have a PSLE question for you, but instead we're going to get to know one of the top schools in Singapore, which is none other than Raffles Institution, also known as RI. So RI, which one are we talking about? Will we be talking about Raffles Girls' School here on the left, or is it the school on the right? And is it called Raffles Junior College or Raffles Institution? So a couple of things we've got to get straight. So the school we'll be talking about is of course the one on the right, and it's called Raffles Institution. And one thing you have to understand is that RI offers the integrated program to its students. This is a 6-year program which allows their students to bypass the O-levels and go straight to the A-levels at the end of the 6 years. So the structure is such that in the first 4 years, RI is open to only boys. They offer a single-sex education for the first 4 years, and in year 5 and year 6 is when you open to girls and boys as the students prepare for their A-levels. And this RGS here, you can kind of think of it as the girls wing of RI because they offer this same initial 4 years to girls. And RJC was actually merged back into the main institution, which is maybe why there could be some area of confusion. Now, for some background info, RI was founded in 1823. This makes it the single oldest school in Singapore, and this is its current location. It's a somewhat central location with the closest MRTs being Bishan and Marymount. So what makes RI such a good school? So because we at Kangaroo Study, we specialize in math, right? The first reason we're going to give you is this. These were the results taken from Singapore Math Olympiad, the open section, which is the highest level of mathematics competition in Singapore for pre-university students. And the table here shows the top 30. As you can see, we've bolded quite a number of names, and these are all the students from RI. And in the whole top 30, there are 12 RI students. That accounts for more than a third of all of them. And it's very impressive, right? But of course, some of you might be thinking we cannot generalize the results of SMO to the rest of the student population. Not everyone will compete here, and not everyone will get such good results, which is a really good point. I will concede that, which is why I will show you now the A-level results for 2023. So to understand these A-level results, you need to know what rank points are. So it's basically what happens when you take your grades and you tally them up. Grades will be worth a particular number of points based on whether it's A, B, C, and then it will be put against a total of 90. So as you can see, the last column is 90 RP, and it's 25%. What does that mean? That means a quarter of all the students in RI, they managed to get the full 90 points. This is an insane feat. And the mean and median is also nothing to scoff at, 84.4 and 88. These are really impressive numbers. And to truly understand how amazing these results are, let's just take the median and compare it to the NTU admission scores for A-level. And we've highlighted some of the more competitive courses in white, like medicine and Renaissance engineering, but you can see with a median of 88, right, comparing against these scores, you can qualify for any major or course you want. And it's even the same for NUS. But RI is not only known locally, right? Internationally, they have quite the reputation as well. They are one of the best schools in the world in terms of the number of offers they get from Oxbridge, where Oxbridge is of course a term referring to both universities of Oxford and Cambridge. And here I've compiled the table, and you can see in 2022 it suddenly reached an all-time high of 77, which amounts to a success rate of 25.2%. And in 2023, both of these got even higher. So now we see that RI really does deserve the reputation it has, right? The kind of results they're producing, we understand just how good they are. You might be wondering, how does one even apply to RIIP? So these are the PSLE score ranges you needed back in 2022. And like I mentioned, it's an integrated program only. There's no PGT 1, 2, 3, and it's for non-affiliated students. And as you can see, it's 4 to 6, which means you pretty much need a perfect or near perfect score. You can imagine just how difficult it is to get in. And if not, there's the direct schools admission exercise. These were the talent areas in 2023. I've bolded the academic areas. So now we have an idea of just what kind of students they're taking. Like, they're really taking the cream of the crop, you know, of the whole Singapore population. And now you might be curious, what is a school like for an RI student? So let's start with this. So the moment a student enters RI, they'll be put into one of 5 houses. These houses are named after key figures in RI's early history. And the reason this house system is a core part of RI culture is that throughout the year they will compete with other houses in inter-house competitions or activities, and they will score points. And at the end of the year, the house with the most number of points will basically be awarded. Okay, very fun stuff, yeah. And another important aspect of RI school life is, of course, the CCAs. They have a very varied selection of sports, uniform groups, performing arts, and clubs and societies. And not only that, they've actually very high achieving CCAs as well. So here are the achievements for club societies, performing arts, just a selection, and these are the ones for the sports such as hockey, track and field, table tennis. And it's not only in the local context, even regionally, like as recent as 2023, last year, 12 of RI swimmers were sent to Jakarta to compete, right? And they were able to win 6 golds, 8 silvers, and 3 bronzes. This is very impressive stuff. So we see that not only do these students get really good grades, but they also perform really well when you send them to competitions. So that was the non-academic aspect. Now what about the student experience? What is learning like in RI? So one aspect of RI's curriculum is that they have a very flexible, holistic education. So their core curriculum really embraces this idea, and all of this culminates in the gap semester in year 4. So basically, like I mentioned, IP students, right, they don't take O-levels for the most part. They still have to do that for like mother tongue, but in the later half of year 4, these RI students, they instead have what's called the gap semester, and there's four parts to this. Okay, so the first part is the international courses. They could possibly be sent overseas to places like Japan and Vietnam, and the second part is opportunities for work attachment, right? There's something like 200 vacancies opened up for them in 30 different companies. That gives them some work experience, and there's like more than 50 Singapore courses that lets them choose to suit their interests. And there's also the student initiated courses, which allows them to maybe go on research attachments or even sports attachments. Let's see what this looks like. On the right, we have, I believe it was, they are learning about mangroves, and on the left, they are partnering up with a partner school in Japan. And another part of the curriculum is the leadership emphasis. Okay, they place a lot of emphasis on leadership development, and one part of that is the Raffles boarding program in year 3, which is a brief residential stint for the students, and the many leadership programs they have, such as the class executive community and the CEC council and the prefectorial board. And this is where I will bring up some notable alumni from RI. So I'm not at all saying that 100% you send like your child to RI, they're going to become the prime minister or president. But I'm just trying to say that I'm sure the people here you see on the screen, they've benefited in some way from RI's curriculum, which places a heavy emphasis on leadership development. So from left to right, we have our Singapore's very first president, President Yusof Ishak, and our first prime minister as well, PM Lee Kuan Yew. And the third person is actually Min Liang Tan. He is the CEO of Razer. And the final person is a very accomplished playwright, Alfian Saad. RI also has some very excellent ways to nurture the talents and interests of the students via special academic programs. So one of this is the Regional Studies program, where students will learn about the Southeast Asian region, and also they have this thing called NMOS, which is basically the elective program for Malay language. This is where students learn about the Malay language, about Malay culture and Malay traditions. And they have this thing also called Galileo and Euler programs. It is mainly for the year 1s and year 2s. This is basically a program which puts the students, who are some of the more exceptionally gifted students, on a much faster pace of learning. So it's an accelerated course that teaches them all these complex concepts ahead of all of their peers. And the Raffles Academy is a similar thing, but it's for year 3 onwards. But okay, so now it might be a little bit strange to see this slide after I've been doing nothing but singing praises and talking about the excellent aspects of all of RI's education and even all of their achievements, right? But there's actually there's a particular profile of student which might not necessarily be an appropriate fit for RI, and there's 3 factors that might cause you not to be suitable for RI. So the first one is, of course, if you want an alternative to A-levels. If you're not even interested in A-levels, then RI, which offers A-levels at the end of 6 years, is definitely not going to be the place for you. If let's say you're looking for something which is more broader, more multidisciplinary, maybe multidisciplinary, maybe you could try the International Baccalaureate diploma, right, where you have to learn about the theory of knowledge and you have to do an extended essay. Or maybe you want to go the other way and you want something much more specialized. Maybe you could consider the NUS High School Diploma, where students are put on a much more emphasized course for mathematics and science, where they learn about mathematical and scientific research. And the second reason could be, like I mentioned, RI offers this AMAS program, which is basically the Malay language elective program, and it's one of 4 schools to do that, but it does not offer the CLEP, which is the Chinese language elective program. And if you have a greater interest in Chinese culture and Chinese tradition, and even the Chinese language, then of course you'll have to go to one of those other schools which offers the CLEP. And the third point is, of course, even if you scored very well for PSLE, perhaps you cannot cope in a competitive environment. And this is in no way a criticism of RI, but the reality is this. RI is a place where the curriculum is going to be very intensive, even to get in is very competitive, and you'll be surrounded by high achievers, so students will eventually end up in Oxbridge, that kind of thing. So this will inevitably be a really competitive environment, and academic excellence will be seen as the baseline. So if you cannot cope, you shouldn't take that as a representation on you. It's completely fine, but that could be one reason why RI might not be suitable for you. So that brings me to the end of the video actually. Once again, I'm teacher Ali from Kangaroo Study. If you're interested in PSLE Math or you have any questions for us, please feel free to scan this QR code to join our PSLE study group. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.